What's up, y'all? Sparta here. For this video, I want to finally talk about the OnePlus 9. I've had it for pretty much a month now, and I haven't done a single video on it. Not even like an impressions video. Couldn't do an unboxing because I got a very basic. It's an Amazon renewed OnePlus 9, so I didn't get any sort of like fancy OnePlus box or anything like that. But yeah, let's talk about this phone. I guess this can be my review because I have been using it for quite some time now. And the main reason I got this and not say a OnePlus 9 Pro, OnePlus 9 Pro is very minimal in terms of what I feel like I would actually use over what the OnePlus 9. The OnePlus 9 is basically 80% of what 80 to 90% of what the OnePlus 9 Pro offers. You get a slightly bigger screen on the OnePlus 9 Pro. You get quad HD. You get I think you get laser autofocus. You get another mic on the back of right by the cameras, very much like an iPhone. Um, but everything, you get a telephoto lens as well. Other than that, it's pretty much the same phone. And I'll talk about why I feel like if you're going for a OnePlus phone and you don't necessarily need those features, you don't really need to feel bad about getting a OnePlus 9. I feel like this is a very fantastic phone. Um, so the last OnePlus phone I've had was the OnePlus 6T. The OnePlus 6T served me well. I still have it, but it's basically unusable now, especially with all these 120 hertz screens around me and it not being as smooth as even like my V60. It's very much seen its better days, and now we get into this phone where it's basically a souped up OnePlus 6T in my personal opinion. You still get a very good, very fast fingerprint in display fingerprint sensor on the front of the phone. Um, like very quick, really no issues whatsoever with the in display fingerprint sensor at all. Oxygen OS, very nice feeling user interface, really no issues there. Android 11 on this. And the Android 12 beta is out. I'm just not putting it on here because this is my only OnePlus phone that I can use that can do Android 12. So, yeah, very nice on Android 11. It's on the most recent security patch, so really no issues there. And yeah, everything you know about OnePlus is still here. You still have your notification switch, which is very akin to Apple, but it's honestly better in my personal opinion because it's not just turn vibration on and turn your sound completely on. It's either you turn it completely silent, if it'll show up. You turn it completely silent, you vibrate it, or you bring the ringer back on. I tend to keep it on just vibrate. But yeah, very nice. I really like how OnePlus has kept that around. It's a very nice feature to have. Your power button, all the buttons are very clicky. Your volume button your power button on the right, your volume rocker on the left. Stereo speakers on this, so that's definitely an improvement from the OnePlus 6T, where the OnePlus 6T just has a decent bottom firing speaker, whereas this has a front speaker grill, front firing speaker at the top, and a bottom firing speaker at the bottom, obviously. Um, OLED display, 1080p. This is a very crisp 1080p display. I think OnePlus is very good with the 1080p displays. I really have never had an issue with them at all in terms of, say, having any sort of clarity issues, things looking like washed out or blurry or anything like that. They're very crisp 1080p displays. So I really don't think you'll be missing much going from a 1440p down to a 1080p display on this phone. You're really not going to be missing much. This doesn't come with the frosted glass back like the 9 Pro does. It's obviously more glossy. This is their Astral Black color, which is like a bluish black. Um, it's still pretty much a mirror finish. It's not nearly as mirror finished as the OnePlus 6T, where that thing is the back of that phone is basically a mirror, but it's still nice nonetheless. As you guys can probably see here a little bit, got the Hasselblad branding right there, your 48 and your 50 megapixel lenses. You have your main and your ultra wide. This is the best ultra wide you can get on a phone, period. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. Spoiler alert. I'm going to get into the cameras in a bit, but the 50 megapixel wide angle lens on this phone is the best you could get on a phone, like, bar none, that I've used anyway. And you have I think this is your color sensor, your depth sensor right here. So yeah, there you go there. Like I said, very fast fingerprint sensor, very smooth, adaptive 120 hertz display with no issues there. 4,500 milliamp hour battery in this phone. Can do up to 65 watt charging, 15 watt wireless charging, 30 watt wireless charging, and 15 watt reverse wireless charging. So very nice there. What else? What else in terms of specs? Obviously, Snapdragon 888, really no issues in terms of that. 8 gigabytes of RAM. This is the 128 gig, 8 gigabytes of RAM version of this phone. Very fast. I don't use it for many games. I have a few games on here. I mainly use it to record video. But yeah, very clean overall in terms of that, and really no issues in terms of the performance of this phone, aside from like the YouTube app being a little bit choppy. And there's been some controversy with the OnePlus 9s earlier when these phones first came out, where certain apps don't completely utilize the Snapdragon 888 or something like that. I think that's what it was. Like, they gimped the CPU, I think, for certain games and apps. So certain games and apps run lower, thus throttle, but also take less battery. So that's something you're going to have to keep in mind. Forget if it's either the GPU or the CPU that they gimp intentionally, but in software that you can bypass through ADB, I think, and you can make it so that's just not the case. In terms of overall, like, say, Snapdragon 888 performance, this chip is renowned for being quite hot. The Xperia 1 Mark III, the S21 Ultra, phones like that, especially the S21 Ultra, just gets super hot. It can get super hot. This phone, I honestly haven't found any sort of like variation of me using the phone very heavily where this phone gets begrudgingly hot. It may get warm, and I'll talk about this when it comes to recording video, but more when it comes to recording video. But 4K 60 FPS video can only be recorded in 5-minute intervals due to heat, and yeah, that does suck for me personally, but it's not that big of a deal. And this phone, honestly, I've just been using the 1080p 60 recording, and it's been totally fine. Looks a bit weird sometimes, but it's whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really gotta say about that. Really no issues in terms of heat. RAM management's been great. I've never had that issue with OnePlus phones. Battery management, fantastic. Really no issues there either. Yeah, that's all in terms of the overall rundown of the specs. My dislikes of this phone, I'm obviously just going to say headphone jack. I really wish they just kept that. What else? The YouTube app, for whatever reason, runs at 60 FPS. I don't know what it is. Like, it just runs at a 60 FPS interval, whereas every other app I don't have that issue with. Like, let me go over to my 1 Mark III, and I can show you guys that on here, the 1 Mark III, oh my lord, bro, that's night and day. You won't be able to obviously see that it's 120 FPS, but or 120 hertz, but you can feel it. And you could probably see it a little bit side by side in video, but when you actually use these phones in the hand, you'll definitely feel it. It just feels weird. And it kind of sucks. It makes me not gravitate towards this phone for YouTube watching all that much, though I have been doing it lately a little bit more. But yeah, that is kind of the one thing I don't like. Let's talk about reception, right? 5G Wi-Fi reception is very good. I really have no problems there. I can basically go all the way. I'm on the fourth floor of my apartment, right? Um, I can go in the elevator, get down to like the second floor, and still get signal from my Wi-Fi router. It's kind of weird. Again, it's not really useful, but it still stays connected. It's kind of odd. 5G has been was fine when I had my Google Fi SIM in here. Really no issues there. You do get Wi-Fi calling through it as well. Google Fi allows that. And yeah, reception's been totally fine. Like I said, calling is totally good as well. I can hear people loud and clear. They hear me loud and clear. The haptics on this phone are really good. I know people may not care about that, but if you're spending a lot of money on the phone and you're typing a lot on your phone, you should at least have good haptics so it doesn't feel like a springboard every time you touch the phone and tap and type on it. So that's really nice. OnePlus definitely improved that over the OnePlus 6T. Let's talk about cameras, because this is one of the main reasons I decided to go with this phone over, say, a Pixel 6, because I really wanted to see how much OnePlus could improve over the OnePlus 6T. The OnePlus 6T was a fairly average camera. You can definitely get very good photos out of it. I'm not trying to sit here and saying that it was terrible or anything like that, like a lot of people said back in the day. I was one of the few people that liked what the OnePlus 6T was doing for the most part, aside from the fact that the HDR was overly processed. But yeah, this phone having Hasselblad partnership leans far more towards natural colors. And you get very nice features like X-Pan is really nice. You get the pro photo mode. You don't have any sort of pro video mode on here, but the color science on this phone is really natural, is really nice. Really no issues in terms of that. I guess I'll show you guys some photos here just to show you what stuff looks like. Okay, so this was a picture I took not last night. I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, but low light, literally right here, and fairly good. It's not the best thing in the world. There's definitely detail lost. But the moment you get more used to what this camera can do, it does overexpose a little bit. Due to how large the main sensor is, again, 48 megapixels, it's not going to be as like effortless as, say, a Xperia 1 Mark III, where you just hold it to focus for a little bit, fully press it, and it instantly takes the picture. It'll take a little bit at times to take the picture. But this is a sunset picture. Very beautiful. I think this is with the ultra wide. Very nice. Very clean. I think this was also with the ultra wide. These are X-Pan. I think these two are X-Pan. So in X-Pan, what you can do is you can set it to either be black and white or set it to be color. So I can set it to be black and white right here. I can go wider and I can do color. So that's very nice. Really no issues with that whatsoever. X-Pan is probably one of my favorite modes on here, bar none. Very nice sunset kind of photo performance. This was taken, I think I did 5x zoom, and it was in the window, and I just took it, and it looks pretty nice. It's not the best looking. Towel, just random stuff. There was a bug in Avengers where Tony didn't have arms, so I took a picture of that, sent it to my homies. This was Thanksgiving Day. Very nice dog picture. more X-Pan right here. Me holding my doggy, one of them anyway. Zoom picture. This was very nice. I was taking a picture of the SD card that I was going to put into my V60 because my 512 or my 400 gig one is failing. So I'm deciding to just switch it over. Kitty went to Denny's that night. Kitty again. Sorry for the dirty floor. We were got a whole bunch of crap in and had to reorganize. Take a picture of the Liberty 3 Pros, the Sonys, and the Tone FP9. Very nice performance overall. Really have no issues with the cameras in terms of this. I'll go and find older pictures here from when I first got the phone. But yeah, this phone takes very good pictures. Anyone that says otherwise just honestly doesn't know what they're doing with this camera at all. Like, I don't mean to be that prick, but I'm going to be that prick right now. This phone takes fantastic photos. Really no getting around that. Very detailed, very crisp, really natural as well. Really no problem with the color reproduction at all. Like, this stuff looks very nice. The cameras on this phone are very good. You don't have to worry about that going to a OnePlus anymore. So the video, it can do 4K 60 FPS on the ultra wide and the main sensor, and you can seamlessly switch through them while recording the video. That's something you can't do on the iPhone, something you can't do on the S21 Ultra, something you can't do on the V60. You can do it on older LG phones, but the V60 you just can't do it. Mainly because it's the sensor difference is too much. I think that's what it is. So it just can't handle it. But yeah, this phone is great in terms of video. Really no issues there. The mics on this phone are really good. Stabilization on this phone is really good. Really have no issue in terms of the video performance at all. And same with the photos. You're not really going to have any sort of issues using this phone for anything other than the fact that it doesn't have a manual video mode. That's one thing I wish they would add. But honestly, if they don't, use something like Filmic and you'll be totally fine. That's all I really got to say, though. I really do like this phone, and I'm keeping it probably for the next 4 years. We'll see what happens. Or 3-4 years, just like I did with the 6T. I just didn't really feel plussed, no pun intended, on getting the 7 Pro, the 7T, the 8. I just went to the 9, and I was totally fine with what I got here. Really nice phone. I really don't have any sort of issues with what this does whatsoever. This is Sparta. Thank you guys for watching today's support. Hope you guys have a wonderful Monday or whatever time of day it is. You like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. Share with people that are interested in the sort of content. Or I guess disliking doesn't really do anything anymore. So share with people that are interested in the sort of content. I'm just so used to saying that. Have a good one, you guys.